have too much time at the shop today, you guys, but we're jumping back on the RS. Apparently today, or tonight, I guess in a couple hours, we have a rager of a storm coming through where we're supposed to get tennis ball size hail and tornadoes. I live in Washington. We don't get tornadoes. I used to live down south in Louisiana, Missouri area, like 8-10 years ago, and you know, we'd get tornadoes every now and then down there, but in Washington, it's ridiculous. In the last video, we got some charge piping and some other stuff kind of figured out for the Subaru, and honestly, huge shout out to you guys also for wanting more Melanie on the channel. Starting to feel a lot more comfortable on camera. She's always willing to help, so I'm gonna try to get her in some more of the videos on the days that she doesn't work, so that'll be pretty sweet. So to start things off, we have our power steering lines back. We got new fittings crimped onto the ends of these guys. We have our DC CD controller. I'd like to try to get at least figured out of where it's gonna go. I got a head unit and a radio for the car because I like having Apple CarPlay, Google Maps up when I'm driving, when I'm going somewhere, and to be able to listen to music. We don't have any speakers in the car, so we can't test any of that yet. And then I got the hardware in for my end links. It's gonna have to go somehow like that. So as this comes up, this is going to go through. We need that to be perfectly parallel, so try 2 washers to begin with. So Cartboy gives you washers with your, and I'm gonna put the sway bar in the neutral setting for right now, which is like right in the middle, and then we can make adjustments later, but they give you washers to be able to get the end links parallel, which that actually doesn't look bad, so it looks like 2 washers right in the middle, and that'll get that parallel, which could just be sway bar alignment. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna cut it 3 washers, and then we'll put 3 on the other side. I am actually gonna tighten these down so that way it'll pull the sway bar left and right to be able to get the sway bar perfectly centered with 3 washers on, and then we'll tighten down the sway bar again. The pressure line goes on right there. Low pressure line here. These guys ran up. Dude, this way better. Remember, that power steering line came out to like over here before I had it cut and crimped. Too many times, and I'm guilty of it too many times I've seen parts not fit 100% and people just kind of like shove extra line in spots. And you know, like I said, I'm guilty of it too. The other line perfectly comes out to our reservoir here now. So technically speaking, we could put power steering fluid in this. I'm not going to yet because this bracket is going to get powder coated as well after I smooth all that out. Everything in here is going to go to powder coat all at the same time. It's going to be intake manifold, turbo, intake charge piping, down pipe, hot side of the turbo, up pipe, header. Everything's gonna go get Cerakoted and powder coated all at the same time, and then we're gonna get it all back at once. So like a lot of this is like rough cut for how it's actually going to look in the end, because everything in here is gonna be coated and looking pretty. I just think it makes more sense to do it all at the end versus doing it all right now. So with our power steering system sorted and figured out, I really like that. With all of this sorted and figured out, we're gonna jump over to the radio. So these are pretty easy to do. Before we even go to fit the radio in the car, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the harness from this Pioneer radio. We're going to get this Subaru adapter harness. We're gonna wire this to this, and then plug it all in, turn the car on, test it to make sure it all works. If it all works, we can actually get the radio in there. I had to buy radio brackets up here on eBay because I don't know what happened to mine, to be honest. So I bought some GM6 GC8 radio brackets. So let's make these harnesses one. Now we have a radio with Apple CarPlay. Some of you guys think it's overrated or unnecessary. I like having my maps. Keating, we're actually gonna jump over to the front mount intercooler piping again because I just had an idea of how to get the piping to the front mount. And I think I can actually snape this through the fender, similar to how the other side goes. So I'm gonna take this bumper off and we're gonna cut a big ass hole in this car again. Headlights gotta come out, fender's gotta come out. Is there a screw holding that in right now? Which is fine, we can do that. We were able to get the intercooler piping figured out. Obviously, I had to cut it similar to how I did on the other side, but we were able to just kind of snake it in front of the dry sump tank here, and then drilling that 3-inch hole allowed 2.5-inch piping to come through. So obviously this is gonna have to have a bend to it or a kick to it. I mean, if we're still doing a standard orientation, it's already kind of angled in the direction that it needs to go there, but way better, you guys. And that looks good too. I'm about it. Intercooler piping almost there. So we are about to jet out of here for the evening for this crazy storm that we're apparently supposed to have. So I will be back over here tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. The storm was fake. The meteorologist lied. No surprise there. So we are jumping right back onto the Subaru. Now that we've got the cold side of the first half of the piping figured out, we're gonna go ahead and weld up the hot side permanently and fully. So these are gonna get fully back purged. Like I mentioned in the last video, I am using 304 stainless steel. I'm obviously not perfect at welding steel or welding in general, but I can definitely weld steel a hell of a lot better than I can aluminum. So let's go ahead and get set up. I'm gonna toss you guys on a time lapse for this because this is definitely going to take some time to weld all of this. And then I've also got something that I think might work for our forward facing turbo kit and still be able to retain the massive throttle body. So if once we have all this welded, we're gonna test that, and if it works, we're just gonna do all the intercooler piping today. I had to stop welding because somebody was having a panic attack. That's fine, I'll go drop you guys off at the house in a little bit. The hood it's shut right now, like it's in its closed position. I was able to get the forward facing piping to work, and I already have it all mocked up. So I found this really weird coupler on Amazon. It's 3.5-inch down to 2.5-inch, and it's like a 35-degree bend. And you know, the hood clearly still touches it, but I'm just gonna kind of shave down the hood a little bit for clearance, because this is really the look that I wanted to go for. As much as the stock piping route didn't look bad, but I built the harness. This is the vision that I had. We're going with this. So from the throttle body, and we still get to use the big old IAG throttle body. It comes out to a 90, to a 45, to a 45 that I cut down, to another 90, into a 90 that goes down to the fender, to our front mount intercooler. Blow off valve will go roughly in this location here. IAT sensor will go right down there. And then we have, dude, you guys, we have our full intercooler setup figured out. Intercooler core mounted, piping all sorted. We just have to weld it. There's a spider on my microphone! Intercooler piping all sorted. We just have to fully weld all this up. So I'm about to go drop the dogs off. At least Yogi, the one in the reflective vest. Mochi doesn't care about the welder. She'll just sleep through it. But him, he just has panic attacks. I lied, I'm actually gonna tack these up now before taking them home. So the way that I do this is I'll mock up the pipe with this tape to be able to like get it in the orientation and what I want. I'll peel the tape back, I'll label them. So that's pipe 1, 2, 3, and this one's 4. And then you guys can see my alignment marks from pipe to pipe on here. This one's under the tape right now. So that tells me where to line up the pipes when I go to tack weld them together. So I'm gonna get these tack welded real quick, and then we are going to drop them off, come back and start fully welding. After a lot of welding, we almost have our intercooler piping done. The hot side is completely welded up. Everything over here sealed, good to go on all the pipes here. We need to clearance that area down there like I mentioned and build a bracket for this side. We're gonna do the brackets tomorrow. This side, I've got all the piping for the cold side coming up into the engine bay welded and everything coming off the throttle body welded. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for that little pipe down there because it's like, it's almost not at a 90 if I continue that straight. I mean, I can make a 90-degree coupler work because that's the plan for right there, but I'm gonna come back to that because we need to jump over to this pipe real quick. So we need to drill 2 holes in this. One of them is gonna be for the IAT sensor, which is going right down there on my little X. The other one is the blow-off valve, and it will sit roughly right like so. So this pipe's got to come back out. We will probably do the bung for the IAT sensor first because it's pretty easy. You just drill a hole and then weld this to it. That one, the cutting on that sucks, especially on stainless. So we're gonna do that one second. It has been non-stop welding for the past like 4.5 hours, but all of our intercooler piping is pretty much welded up. We still have to bead roll it all. I have to weld one straight piece onto the first cold side pipe that comes up from the intercooler into the engine bay, which is gonna be this guy, to connect up to our other piece. But we have our IAT sensor bung welded on, our blow-off valve flange welded on, all of the piping fully welded up, everything back purged. It's all, honestly, it looks great. Looks phenomenal, actually. Here is pretty much all of our intercooler piping, you guys. So coming off of the throttle body, 90, we've got our IAT sensor bung there, coming down to a 45, going to our blow-off valve flange. Doesn't touch anything and sits there relatively nicely. This will actually come back a little bit more. And then we've got this 90 coming out, and this is the piece that we need to weld on tomorrow. From there to the coupler. That coupler is oversized right now because I don't have a 2.5 90. Coming down, we've got all of our piping beautifully welded up, going up to our intercooler. Over on the hot side, comes down. Everything looks all nicely welded. Look at those freaking welds, you guys. Look how pretty those are compared to like where I started welding and everything was like big boogers. Then we've got it going there. So we have a, for the most part, complete turbo system at this point. Dude, that looks so good. I'm so happy we decided to opt for the forward-facing piping versus the standard location because personally, I think it looks way better. Like everyone's gonna have their own opinion on it, but I think it looks so much better than having the piping wrap all the way behind the engine. So I'm gonna jet out of here for the night, you guys. Tomorrow, we're gonna build all the brackets for the intercooler piping. In this video, we're just gonna wrap up the intercooler piping. We need to build brackets to keep the intercooler piping where it's at. So we'll do one coming from like here, up here, one on each fender, just to kind of keep everything where it needs to be. So that way this piping's not gonna move around on us. But dude, I love it. With the majority of our piping welded up, we now need to bead roll it. It's what helps keep the coupler on during boost settings. Now I don't know how well it's going to go bead rolling stainless, so I'm hoping, oh no, it'll bead roll. Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna take a little bit more, but it is doing it. One pipe down. Thankfully we only got 4 of these things, so you can bead roll stainless. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt, but the bead roll looks good, looks consistent. It doesn't need to be huge. The bead is just enough to be able to keep the coupler from popping off under boost. So one pipe down. See why I was like, fuck. Okay, towards you. There we go. 3 out of 4 pipes bead rolled. We're gonna hold off on doing the last one for a minute, and you probably just, it's just pointing on my chest, isn't it?
It is.
We'll do the last bead roll here in a little bit. This bead roller, I think I'm gonna have to throw it away after this because the whole bead roller is like, it's falling apart. I think it's just due to it being stainless, so we're going to grab some cardboard and make some brackets out of cardboard, transfer that over to some steel plating that I bought, and then weld up the steel plating brackets to our piping, and we should have intercooler piping at that point. Let's make that down. I'm thinking we just have boom, boom to that, and then we can just put like an insert in right there on the shroud, and that'll keep this piping where it needs to be. The width of this is 836. I take that width and go there and there, and then I want to draw 2 really straight lines. You know what's great about calipers? They can also be used as a straight edge. This is not going to be indicative of the final result, but it will give us the basics of what we need right now. All right, like that. Now we are bracket.
Oh.
Now we know the width and we know the length, right? That's what you say, right?
Right.
Come right here to our metal that you just did for us.
Yes, I made this.
You did. She forged it and everything.
Mm-hmm. With my bare hands.
Your bare hands?
With my bare hands.
So we're gonna take our measurement on here. We're gonna go boop, 5.70. So we're gonna start like that. We're gonna come here and we're gonna go boop.
Did you use the outsides or the insides?
That measurement. So calipers, calipers have a really cool way of measuring. So you can measure 1, 2, 3 different ways. So you can use this measurement here, which you just saw me use to measure the cardboard.
Yeah.
So if you come here, it's the same measurement.
Sure.
You can use the back side, same measurement. And then you can also use this side, same measurement. And you can also use outside to outside here, which is same measurement. So now I'm just gonna cut out that little strip of metal there.
In the upright position?
Look at you using your brains. Now we have to figure out where we need to bend it. So right there, we'll have a 90-degree bend. It's not too hard to make a bracket, right? Thank you. With the pipe in place and our bracket in place, I'm gonna go ahead and tack weld these together in car so that way orientation wise everything is where it needs to be, and then once it's tack welded we'll take it out and fully weld this bracket to the pipe, and that'll just keep this pipe from physically going anywhere. Like it'll keep it bolted down to the radiator shroud, which is exactly what we want. So that is a tack. Bracket number 1, all done. Coming off the intercooler pipe, it bolts to the radiator shroud, and it will allow movement up. It allows some movement. So if the engine needs to move, obviously the engine's gonna move. So when the engine moves, it still has some play to be able to move. So this bracket keeps the piping from hitting the engine in like literally at all. It'll also keep it from going anywhere near our alternator pulley, which is the last thing that we want. So this pipe is completely done. It is bead rolled. We have our IAT sensor in it. We've got our blow off valve flange on it. We've got our bracket on it. This one, 100% done. The next one that we're gonna jump over to is down here, and I need to make a bracket for these pipes. So what I did is I added a little rubberized grommet right there, and you guys can see it sticks out down there. So I'm just gonna build another bracket using cardboard going from that pipe there to that little isolator bushing, and that'll secure this because I want this to come up a bit so that way it's not rattling on the frame itself. So it'll just kind of sit up just a little bit. I've got my lovely assistant here who's going to hold my ground cable to the pipe as I tack weld the bracket on. I was originally gonna take this pipe off and just do it, but that's not gonna, the location of this pipe could change if I do that. So having somebody, because I have nowhere to clamp it to, which that's my issue. Close your eyes.
Well, I can't close my eyes, but I close one eye.
Just don't look where I'm welding. Now I'm gonna let that cool down for a sec to let that weld harden up, and then we're gonna take this pipe off, take it back, fully weld it, and we've got that bracket done also. Passenger side bracket all done, welded off of this pipe going up to this rubber isolator here, and that keeps this pipe nice and centered. I also went ahead and put some weather stripping inside of this cutout. I'll do the same thing on the other side. We've got good pipage in our coupler here. I still need to clearance up here a little bit, but that's fine. But dude, driver's side or passenger side is completely done. So over here on the driver's side, I looked online. I'm gonna order a 15-degree mandrel bend to go from that pipe to out here, and then just run a 90-degree coupler off of that. I just don't want to half-ass fabricating this last piece. I'd rather just buy the correct piece of material I need. Down here, we're gonna do our last bracket. And I've got another rubber isolator on the backside right here, and I'm choosing to use the rubber isolators because they will allow some flex for the pipes versus hard mounting the pipe to the chassis. So once again, cardboard, we're gonna make a bracket, get it tacked on, get everything welded up, and that will pretty much, for the most part, be all of our intercooler piping, you guys. Let's say maybe just like that. I don't know if I love that though. I mean, I guess the other option is just straight down. I feel like at an angle, I kind of want it to go behind it. So I think just like that. Seems easy enough. Back here, I just need to hold this up like that. Wherever you want.
Where are you welding?
Okay, what's the rule, Mel?
Don't look at the shiny light.
Don't look at the light. I don't need you having more eye surgeries.
Gee, your time's up, bud.
We are tacked on.
Good job.
We'll go weld this thing up. The last mounting tab we just did is all welded up and done. So off this pipe, it comes up to another isolator bushing. So it still allows this pipe to move as needed, but it'll keep it from ever hitting the dry sump tank. So with this point, with the exception of one 15-degree bend I'm gonna order tonight, that's gonna connect that pipe there up to this pipe with a 90-degree coupler, we are done, you guys. I am so freaking happy with how all of this came out. So just a quick run over of everything again. Throttle body 90, IAT sensor 45, blow off valve 45, tab or bracket to a 90, and dude, look at that clearance too. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. Over here on the hot side, we've got the one mounting tab there that we did. Everything is nice, tucked and fitted well. So like, this is great. Let me toss the headlight, the fender, and the bumper back on real quick, just to be able to see it all as like somewhat of a complete unit. I just test fit everything with the hood again, and it all clears beautifully. So at this point, we are almost done with fab. We have to wrap up the downpipe, put an O2 sensor in the downpipe, do a cat back for this, and then at that point, the that's pretty much all fab actually done with. I'm pretty stoked to almost be done with fab. Intercooler piping's knocked out, intake is done, downpipe's almost there. We'll finish the downpipe in the next video. I'm gonna order the oil cooler tonight, because if we can do the oil cooler, we can do all the dry sump lines. Also put oil in the dry sump, potentially try to kick the engine over just to prime the oil system. We still have to run fuel lines from the tank to the engine bay, but this thing is, at this point, almost ready to run, weirdly enough. Kind of want to leave all the piping stainless too. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we powder coat it or leave it stainless and just not polish it, but like give it a brushed look? I'm on the fence, but anyways, that's all I got for you guys on this one. I am so glad to almost be done with fab. It's just time consuming, because it's the best way to describe doing fab stuff like this is it's a puzzle. You have to figure out what goes where and how it all goes together. It will go together in one way or another. You have to figure out how it goes together, the best way it goes together, the best way it goes together for your setup, how you want it to look. There's so many different factors involved in it, so I'm glad to almost be done with it. But like I said, that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, if you're hyped with the progress on the 2.5 RS, this thing is almost ready to run. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, I'll put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies. Woo!